Very good morning, my dear students. Welcome to Learning Radius. Welcome to Learning Radius Current Affairs 2021. In this video, we'll be discussing the last topic of international issues, and the topics are World Summit on the Information Society WSIS Forum 2021, Traffic Jam in Suez Canal, UKs Touring Scheme, Communications Decency Act CDA, Russia withdraws from Open Skies Treaty, India to expand research tourism in Arctic, food prices rise sharply in January 2021, US-Palestinian discussion, India-Tajikistan, PM expresses gratitude to UNITRA, 116 meeting of India-Pakistan Permanent Indus Commission, Central Revenue Control Laboratory, and India-Nigeria discussion. So in this particular video, we'll be discussing India-Nigeria, Central Revenue Control Laboratory, 116 meeting of the India-Pakistan Permanent Indus Commission, PM expresses gratitude to UNITRA, India-Tajikistan discussion, US-Palestine discussion, food prices rise sharply in January 2021, India to expand research tourism in Arctic, Russia withdraw from Open Skies Treaty, Communication Decency Act CDA, UK Touring Scheme, Traffic Jam in Suez Canal, the World Summit on the Information Society WSIS Forum 2021. Let's come to the first topic. World Summit on the Information Society WSIS Forum 2021. The World Summit on the Information Society Forum 2021 represents one of the world's largest annual gathering of the ICT for Development community. Is co-organized by the International Telecommunication Union, ITU, UNESCO, UNDP, and UNCTA. That itself is very relevant right from UPSC point of view. It's co-organized by International Telecommunication Union, UNESCO, UNDP, UNCTAD. Fundamentals of ITU is very important. At the same time, you should have a clarity regarding UNESCO, UNDP, and UNCTAD. During the address to high-level policy session of WSIS 2021, wherein Secretary General ITU, Ministers of Russia, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, Zimbabwe, Iran, and leaders and high-level dignitaries from across the globe were present, Sri Dr. underscored the role of information and communication technology for modernization and transformation of the industry, promotion of inclusive economic growth, and stimulation of the national economies to meet the larger objective of Sustainable Development Goal. So again, SDG as such is coming into discussion related to this particular, the World Summit on the Information Society. Once again, SDG, all the objectives of SDG, that is Sustainable Development Goal, should be very clear from a fundamental point of view. The next area as it is achievement by India, the initiatives were taken not only effectively manage the pandemic situation, but also with the objective of bridging the digital divide in the country. Innovative solutions such as Arogya Setu platform to monitor and alert health status of citizens, COVID Saudhan system for targeted messaging in a specified area, facilitation framework for work from home and work from anywhere, effective use of public Wi-Fi under PM Vani scheme, enabling effective service delivery for the citizens across the country. All these assets is significant from UPSC preliminary point of view, that innovative solutions such as Arogya Setu platform to monitor and alert health status of citizens, COVID Saudhan system for targeted messaging in a specified area, facilitation framework for work from home and work from anywhere, effective use of public Wi-Fi under PM Vani scheme, enabling effective service delivery for the citizens across the country. So that is more into the activities. Under the flagship program BharatNet, nearly 6 lakh villages are being connected through laying of more than 4 lakh kilometer length of optical fiber cable and use of satellite communication services through submarine cable networks. Small and remote islands of Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep and other inaccessible areas are being connected with funding from government. So that is all about the project. Establishment of ITU area office and innovation center in India with involvement of SME, academia and startup in the region will go a long way in developing technologies, standards and solutions best suited for rural and remote areas of developing nations. This will bolster efforts towards bridging the digital divide in many developing regions of the world and meeting SDGs. So that's about the World Summit on the Information Society. At the same time, the achievement from the side of India, what all India as such is delivered towards information, communication and technology. I conveyed it one by one. in that Arogya Setu, COVID Saudhan, PM Vani, all are very, very significant from UPSC point of view. At the same time, the flagship project BharatNet, I conveyed what is the project BharatNet, and BharatNet should be clear in your mind. Now, coming back to World Summit on the Information Society Forum 2021, the World Summit on the Information Society Forum co-organized by ITU, UNESCO, UNDP, UNCTAD in close collaboration with all World Summit on the Information Society Action Line facilitators, co-facilitators have proven to be an efficient mechanism for coordination of multi-stakeholder implementation activities, information exchange, creation of knowledge sharing of best practices, and continues to provide assistance in developing multi-stakeholder and public-private partnership to advance development goals. So that is about World Summit on the Information Society Forum 2021. Next, traffic jam in Suez Canal. The Suez Canal has been blocked after a large cargo ship ran aground and got stuck sideways across the canal, blocking the path of other ships waiting to cross through on both sides. Egypt, which heavily depends on revenue from the canal, is now diverting ships to an older channel to minimize disruption to global trade. The blockage has already led to a long queue of vessels waiting to cross the canal. So that is about the traffic jam in Suez Canal. A human-made waterway, the Suez Canal is one of the world's most heavily used shipping lanes, carrying over 12% of world trade by volume. Built in 1869, it provides a major shortcut for ships moving between Europe and Asia, who before its construction had to sail around Africa to complete the same journey. So it's very, very important from geography point of view. They can ask the geography of Suez Canal, or they can ask the canal and its detail in connection with the locations too. So Suez Canal, the fundamentals should be very clear. So why is the Suez Canal blocked? The vessel blocking Suez is the Ever Given. So that is the name of the vessel, Ever Given. Ever Given, a Panama registered container ship that is on its way to Rotterdam in Netherlands from China. The 218 build vessel, which is 400-meter long and 59-meter wide, got stuck here due to a mishap caused by bad weather. While passing northward through the Suez Canal in order to enter the Mediterranean Sea, the ship weighing 2 lakh tons ran aground and got stuck sideways across the canal, blocking path of other ships waiting to cross through on both sides. So that's what happened in connection with Ever Given. It's a very long ship of 400 meter, at the same time 500 meter wide. It got stuck in between because of bad weather, and while passing northward through the Suez Canal in order to enter to Mediterranean Sea, the ship weighed 2 lakh tons, ran aground and got stuck sideways across the canal. So again, from geography point of view, Mediterranean Sea, Ligurian Sea, Tyrrhenian Sea, Ionian Sea, Adriatic Sea, Aegean Sea, Sea of Marmara, Black Sea, Sea of Azov, and Caspian Sea, and the stretches in between should be very clear, and the straits in between should be very clear, and the major sea and their order should be there in your mind, because Mediterranean discussion. So right from Mediterranean to Caspian Sea, which all are the seas in between, which all are the countries bordering that particular seas, at the same time which all are the straits coming in between the seas should be there geographically, because Suez Canal and Ever Given as such were there in the news for continuously for 3 to 4 days. Now, Suez Canal importance for Egypt. The 150-year-old canal was controlled by British and French interest in its initial years, but was nationalized in 1956 by Egypt's then leader Gamal Abdel Nasser. Over the years, the canal has been widened and deepened. In 2015, Egypt announced plan to further expand the Suez Canal, aiming to reduce waiting times and double the number of ships that can use the canal daily by 2023. As per an AFP report, the canal is a major source of income for Egypt's economy, with African country earning $5.61 billion in revenue from in last year. So that's the discussion in connection with the Suez Canal and importance for Egypt. Next discussion is about UKs Touring Scheme. Having left the European Union flagship Erasmus Scholarship Program, so Erasmus Scholarship Program is in discussion. Having left the European Union's flagship Erasmus Scholarship Program after Brexit, the UK launched its own replacement called Touring Scheme to enable UK students to study abroad. Named after the celebrated English mathematician and code breaker Alan Turing, the scheme will enable schools, colleges and universities in the UK to apply for government funding to allow students to study and work across the globe, including in India. So that is UK Touring Scheme, once again named after the celebrated English mathematician and code breaker Alan Turing. The scheme will enable schools, colleges and universities in the UK to apply for government funding to allow students to study and work across the globe, including in India. UK Touring Scheme for Students, the scheme for which the British government has allocated £110 million for the first year, starts in 2020-21 to 2020-21-22 and would enable up to 35,000 students from across the country to study or work across the world from September this year. Under the program, after schools and universities successfully apply for funding for exchanges, university study and work placement, they can invite the students to apply for individual funding as per the BBC. So that's the basic details about UK Touring Scheme for the students. Now, how will the scheme impact India? The UK's Department for Education has confirmed that India, already a top source of international students to the UK, could be among the leading list of countries with which UK universities seek to strike student exchange projects. As per the record, the scheme is part of UK's drive to increase the amount generated from education export, including fees and income from overseas students and English language teaching abroad. The government aims to generate £35 billion per year and bring 6 lakh international students to the country by 2030. So that's the impact on India and the details related. Next is Communication Decency Act, CDA. The United States Section 230 of the Communication Decency Act regulates online publication and liability. Specifically, the 1996 law states no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. Author and cybersecurity lawyer Jeff Kosofs describes the law as the 26 words that created the internet. So, in the US, Section 30 of the Communication Decency Act regulates online publication and liability. Specifically, the 1996 law states no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. But the legislation has come in the crosshairs of both Republicans and Democrats. US President Donald Trump has repeatedly called for it to be repealed, including days ago when he was suspended, first temporarily and then indefinitely, by social media sites including Twitter and Facebook. So that is the discussion about CDA. Why was the law passed? The law grants internet platforms immunity for almost all content posted on them. It is because of Section 230 of the CDA that Twitter is not normally liable for the content of tweets posted by its users, and Google is protected when a restaurant tries to sue it for a bad user review, for instance. So the law grants internet platform immunity for almost all content posted on them. The law was passed in the aftermath of 2 court cases against internet service providers, and different courts had ruled differently on the extent of liability for content hosting and the extent of this liability itself. So why was the law passed? The law grants internet platforms immunity for almost all content posted on them. It is because of Section 230 of the CDA that Twitter is not normally liable for the content of tweets posted by its users, and Google is protected when a restaurant tries to sue it for a bad user review, for instance. So here the law was passed in the aftermath of 2 court cases against internet service providers, and different court had ruled differently on the extent of liability for content hosting and the extent of this liability itself. So back to the discussion, it is about CDA, that is Communication Decency Act. United States Section 230 of the Communication Decency Act, CDA, regulates online publication and liability. Specifically, the 1996 law states no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by any other information content provider. So that's a discussion of CDA. Next discussion is Russia withdraws from Open Skies Treaty. So first of all, Open Skies Treaty, the fundamental should be clear. Russia announced it was pulling out of the Open Skies Treaty, saying that the pact which allows unarmed surveillance flight over member countries had been seriously compromised by the withdrawal of the United States. So that was a discussion. So Russia announced it was pulling out of the Open Skies Treaty, saying that the pact, which allows an unarmed surveillance flight over member countries, had been seriously compromised by the withdrawal of the United States. The United States left Open Skies Arms Control and Verification Treaty in November, accusing Russia of violating it, something Moscow denied. So that is a discussion of Russia withdrew from, that is a discussion about Russia withdrew from Open Skies Treaty. Russia said in a statement that Moscow had made specific proposal to other members to mitigate against the impact of US exit, but that those proposals were not backed by Washington allies. Moscow will formally notify other member states about its exit once it has completed unspecified withdrawal procedure at home. It said the exit process usually takes months to be finalized. And what is the Open Skies Treaty? First proposed in 1955 by former US President Eisenhower as a means to de-escalate tension during the Cold War. So the US President Eisenhower as a means to de-escalate tension during the Cold War. The landmark treaty was eventually signed in 1992 between NATO members and former Warsaw Pact countries following the demise of the Soviet Union. It went into effect in 2002 and had 35 signatories, including key players US and Russia, along with one non-ratifying member. So that is about the Open Sky Treaty. It first proposed in 1995 for the former US President Eisenhower as a means to de-escalate tension during the Cold War. The landmark treaty was eventually signed in 1992 between NATO members and former Warsaw Pact countries following the demise of the Soviet Union. It went into effect in 2002 and had 35 signatories, including key players US and Russia, along with one ratifying member, that is Kyrgyzstan. Now, the Open Sky Treaty aims at building confidence among members through mutual openness, thus reducing the chances of accidental war. Under the treaty, a member state can spy on any part of the host nation with the latest consent. A country can undertake aerial imaging over the host state after giving notice 72 hours before and sharing its exact flight path 24 hours before. So that is what is OST. It aims at building confidence among members through mutual openness, thus reducing the chances of accidental war. Under the treaty, a member state can spy on any part of the host nation with the latest consent. A country can undertake aerial imaging over the host state after giving notice 72 hours before and sharing its exact flight path 24 hours before. Next discussion is India to expand research tourism in Arctic. India has unveiled a new draft Arctic policy. India has unveiled a new draft Arctic policy that, among other things, commit to expanding scientific research, sustainable tourism, and mineral oil and gas exploration in the Arctic region. The draft policy is open to public comments until January 26 and has been prepared after deliberation among several ministers. So that is about India to expand research tourism in Arctic. India has unveiled a new draft Arctic policy that, among other things, commit to expanding scientific research, sustainable tourism, and mineral oil and gas exploration in the Arctic region. India expects Goa-based National Center for Polar and Ocean Research to lead scientific research and to act as a nodal body to coordinate among various scientific bodies to promote domestic scientific research capacity by expanding earth science, biological science, geoscience, climate change, and space-related programs dovetail with Arctic imperatives in Indian universities. So that's about India to expand research tourism in Arctic. And next topic of discussion is food prices rise sharply in January 2021. According to Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, global food prices rose in January 2021 for the 8th consecutive month, led by cereals, vegetable oils, and sugar. FAO Food Price Index, which tracks monthly changes in the international price of commonly traded food commodities and was released today, that was in the news, averaged 113.3 points in January, marking a 4.3% increase from December 2020 and reaching its highest level since July 2014. Normally, when all this happens, UPSC frames statements. This particular area increased continuously for last 5 months, or it decreased continuously, like that they make statement related to different areas where there is a hike in price, when there is a dip in price and all. So here, food prices rise sharply in January 2021. According to Food and Agriculture Organization of United Nations, global food prices rose in January 2021 for the 8th consecutive month, led by cereals, vegetable oil and sugar. FAO's Food Price Index, which tracks monthly changes in international price of commonly traded food commodities, and was released today, averaged 113.3 points in January, marking a 4.3% increase from December 2020 and reaching its highest level since July 2014. Now, each and every area related to FAO, how they as such calculate the price, and in detail you will be getting in the material which is provided by the Learning Radius team. Try to read and understand in detail about FAO's price list. So, the FAO price index and its base, the basics of FAO price index should be there in your mind. Next is US-Palestinian discussion. US President Joe Biden's administration announced it was restoring relations with the Palestinians and renewing aid to Palestinian refugees. A reversal of the Trump administration cut off and a key element of its new support for two-state solution to the decades-old conflict agreed by Israelis and Palestinians. So, United States President Joe Biden's administration announced it was restoring relations with Palestinians and renewing aid to Palestinian refugees. A reversal of the Trump's administration cut off and a key element of its new support for a two-state solution to the decades-old conflict agreed by Israelis and Palestinians. The United States will urge Israel's government and the Palestinians to avoid unilateral steps that make a two-state solution more difficult, such as annexation of territory, settlement activity, demolitions, and providing compensation for individuals in prison for act of terrorism. In last year's UPSC Preliminary Examination, they framed this question, the term two-state solution is in news related to, that was a direct question. So in newspapers, empty number of times this term came two-state solution. Those two-state solution as such is related to Israel, Palestine. So that was a direct question from UPSC last year. Next topic is about India, Tajikistan. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar reached Dushanbe on a 3-day visit to Tajikistan. He will attend the 9th Ministerial Conference on Heart of Asia, Istanbul process on Afghanistan. Dr. Jaishankar is also expected to meet leaders of other participating countries on the sidelines. Central Asia as such is significant from geography point of view. At the same time, in this particular area, Tajikistan as such is in news. So we should have an idea where is Tajikistan, which all other countries are bordering Tajikistan, and the geography should be clear. UPSC can frame questions related to Central Asia or related to Tajikistan, because 9th Ministerial Conference of Heart of Asia, Istanbul process on Afghanistan, that is in discussion. As a lead country for trade, commerce and investment confidence building measures in the Heart of Asia, Istanbul process, India has made concerted effort for strengthening regional connectivity for the greater economic integration of Afghanistan with the region. A dedicated air freight corridor between cities of India and Afghanistan and operationalization of Chabahar port in Iran are steps in that direction. India, as an important stakeholder for peace, prosperity and stability in Afghanistan, has played a constructive role in the international process of Afghanistan. India has engaged regional and international stakeholders of Afghanistan. The visit will further enhance the outreach to Central Asian countries with a special focus on Afghanistan. So that is the discussion about in connection with Tajikistan. Next is PM expresses gratitude to UNITRA, that is United Nations Institute for Training and Research. The Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi has expressed gratitude to UN Institute for Training and Research, that is UNITRA. UNITRA had commended India's remarkable progress in reducing the premature mortality from non-communicable diseases. So UNITRA has commended India's remarkable process in reducing the premature mortality from non-communicable diseases, that the discussion. So the comment is from UNITRA, that is on reducing the premature mortality from non-communicable diseases. Now what is UNITRA? That is, what is UNITRA, United Nations Institute for Training and Research. United Nations Institute for Training and Research is a training arm of the United Nations system and has the mandate to enhance the effectiveness of UN through diplomatic training and to increase the impact of national actions through public awareness, raising education and training of public policy officials. So that is about UN Institute for Training and Research, is a training arm of the United Nations system and has the mandate to enhance the effectiveness of the UN through diplomatic training and to increase the impact of national actions through public awareness, rising education and training of public policy officials. UNITRA provides training and capacity development activities to assist mainly developing countries with special attention to least developed countries, small island developing states and other groups and communities who are most vulnerable, including those in conflict situations. The Institute covers topics in the broad areas of supporting capacity for 2030 agenda, strengthening multilateralism, advancing environmental sustainability and green development, improving resilience and humanitarian assistance, promoting sustainable peace and promoting economic development and social inclusion. The headquarters are based in Geneva, that is in Switzerland. UNITRA is a project-based organization and does not receive any fund from the regular United Nations budget. The institute is financed entirely from the voluntary contributions. It also conducts research on innovative learning approaches, methods and tools, as well as applied research to address critical issues such as disaster risk reduction and humanitarian emergencies. Next topic is 116th meeting of the India-Pakistan Permanent Indus Commission. The annual meeting of the Permanent Indus Commission, comprising of Indus Commissioners of India and Pakistan, was held on March 23, 24, 21 in New Delhi, under the provision of the Indus Water Treaty signed between India and Pakistan in 1960. So Indus Water Treaty as such is in discussion, and 60 years as such we finished. So it is very, very significant from UPSC point of view. The two commissioners are required to meet at least once every year, alternatively India and Pakistan. The meeting could not be held last year due to restriction induced by the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic situation. The annual meeting of the Permanent Indus Commission, comprising of Indus Commissioners of India and Pakistan, was held on March 23, 24, 2021 in New Delhi. That was the discussion, and I told why the Indus discussion is significant. Discussion continued on designs of two Indian projects, namely Pakaldul 1000 megawatt and Lower Kalnai, that is 48 megawatt. Indian side held that these projects are fully compliant with the provision of the treaty and provided technical data in support of its position. So again, Pakaldul 1000 megawatt project and Lower Kalnai 48 megawatt project should be there in your mind. At the same time, the location should be clear. That's all are the project right from the side of India, and India is conveying. Indian side held that these projects are fully compliant with the provision of the treaty and provided technical data in support of its position. Pakistan side requested India for sharing of information on design of other Indian hydropower project being planned to be developed. Indian side assured that the information will be supplied as when required to be supplied under the provision of the treaty. Next discussion is Central Revenue Control Laboratory. Central Revenue Control Laboratory CRCL New Delhi under the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs was today recognized as a regional customs laboratory of the World Customs Organization for Asia Pacific region. In a virtual signing ceremony, Mr. Kunio Mikurio, Secretary General WCO, and Mr. M. Ajit Kumar, Chairman CBIC, signed a memorandum of understanding in this behalf. So it is Central Revenue Control Laboratory. Central Revenue Control Laboratory, New Delhi, under the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, was recognized as a regional customs laboratory of the World Customs Organization. So World Customs Organization for Asia Pacific region is in discussion. So we should have an idea what is World Customs Organization and what is WCO is about. Which is established in 1939, CRCL is the headquarters of 14 revenue laboratories, including 2 laboratories working at government, opium and alkaloid workers, Ghaziapur and Neemach. These laboratories have been upgraded extensively in the past 3 years, and new state-of-art equipment costing of about Rs 80 crore have been installed. With the introduction of instrument-based testing, revenue laboratories are now facilitating faster clearance without compromising on law enforcement and thereby playing a vital role in trade facilitation. So CRCL is in discussion, that is Central Revenue Control Laboratory. At the same time, WCO, that is World Customs Organization. So we should have an idea what is Central Revenue Control Laboratory and what is World Customs Organization. We should have clarity regarding the basic fundamentals of CRCL and WCO. The final topic of discussion is related to India and Nigeria. The National Security Advisor of Nigeria, Major General Babgana Mongno, visited New Delhi for the first strategic and counter-terrorism dialogue between India and Nigeria at the level of NSA. Within the framework of the close and strategic partnership between India and Nigeria, the National Security Advisors held in-depth discussion on the threats and challenges faced by democratic societies from terrorism, extremism, and radicalization. So the National Security Advisor of Nigeria, Major General retired Babgana Mongno, visited New Delhi for the first strategic and counter-terrorism dialogue between India and Nigeria at the level of NSA. The two sides identified specific areas of cooperation to enhance their fight against all forms of terrorism, reaffirming their firm belief that there can be no justification for terrorism in any form or manifestation. They also agreed to enhance their cooperation in the international arena and maintain regular contact in this area. So that's about the discussion between India and Nigeria. So we discussed the topics of international relations and we covered the entire topic related to international relation of current affairs 2020-21 and follow the current affairs details of Learning Radius, update it regularly to get a complete edge. You can download the app, you can go through the website and update all the details related to international relations, go in a systematic fashion. At the same time, work out the premium preliminary question papers and read the soft copies provided by Learning Radius to have a complete edge in all the basic fundamentals too. So that's all about international relations, and in next video we'll be starting the next third series that is related to environment and ecology. Is a very significant, almost the backbone of UPSC preliminary examination. So we'll be discussing environment ecology topics right from the first topic we'll be discussing from tomorrow, and have a great time. Calm version is the most productive version. Be calm and have a very productive learning, a very productive studies. Meet you in the next video with environment ecology. Have a great time. Thank you all.